Alright. じゃあここからですね、ちょっとナイジェリアのこの3社のスタートアップにここからいろいろちょっと聞いていきたいと思っております。ちょっと最初の今回3社プレゼンしてくれていろんな事業の話をしてくれたんですけど、やっぱりこう現地の日本だったら銀行が当たり前にやってることが現地だと成立しなくて、逆にそれを埋めるのがスタートアップというところでですね、各社が事業を取り組んでおります。So thank you very much coming to Japan.
Thank you.
How do you feel? Japan?
Fine.
What was the event?
Very well.
Good?
Exciting.
Very well.
Okay. じゃあ最初の質問なんですけど、アフリカって、今回言ってるんですよ。アフリカって全部54カ国ありまして、全然国によってまた違いますと。ただナイジェリアはですね、アフリカ、最大の人口を抱える国で 2.4 億人今いる国になっています。で、アフリカのユニコーンが今全部で9社いるんですけど、そのうち7社はナイジェリア初のフィンテックになってます。なのでナイジェリアってもう本当に特に他の国とも比べてですね、すごい勢いで伸びている国だと思っていただければいいなと思ってるんです。ので、ちょっと最初ナイジェリアの国についてですね、ちょっと皆さんに聞いていきたいなと思います。So, first question. The Nigerian fintech is special, right? So, the first question is, why has the fintech grown so rapidly, especially in Nigeria compared to other African countries?
All right, should I go first? Okay, thank you so much for that question. And then I would say that we all know the population of Africa, 1.6 million people, and in Nigeria today we are over 240 million people. Right? Nigeria is growing in terms of fintech more than other African countries because we are solving the real problems for the need of the people, in Nigeria. We are not just using technology for using sake. We have the real problem that people actually need, and that's why you see that Nigeria is growing. Aside from that, I would say that Nigeria has actually grown beyond, the bricks and mortar in the banking sector, now leapfrogging. So we are, integrating technology into our daily lifestyle. We are integrating technology into financial inclusion, into health tech, into agri-tech, insurance tech, and mention any other thing. So Nigeria is currently growing because our people actually need a solution that we are solving. So I don't know if you actually also want me to talk about why Japanese should invest in Africa, or you are going to ask that again. I don't know. Do you want me to say that now? Okay. So we are really trying our best when it comes to that. We are adopting so much technology. We are making sure that all the problems we are solving are something that is targeting the basic necessity of lives of our people. Thank you.
Okay. So just to add to what Rukayat talked about, I'll say fintech is growing significantly in Nigeria, largely because of a few points. One, Nigeria has a population of 240 million. The population rate is the growth rate, population growth rate is about 3.4%, which is before now even higher than the economic development rate of the market. Fintech has been hugely adopted in Nigeria because the traditional banking infrastructure cannot support banking in Nigeria. And technology adoption is very, very fast. Internet penetration in Nigeria today is about 65%. The population is very, very young. The average age of the population is about 18 years, with massive technology adoption across the country. So that has allowed fintech adoption to increase significantly, because right now you have a very young population with access to internet, digital phones, smartphones especially. So that has also given rise to adoption of fintech, and that's why you have a lot of Nigerian businesses solving within that space. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to build upon that with 2 points. The first one is around, yes, the population is there, but the biggest part is regulation. Nigeria has one of the best framework when it comes to regulation in Africa, when it comes to fintech. First part is around NIPS, Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, which enables you to be able to make payment instantly. Now, with that regulation, it makes it such that payment is easy, and with payment, a lot of other companies can build on that infrastructure. The other part is around the identity system, which is BVN, bank verification number. With identity, it helps other fintech. It actually creates an ecosystem for other people to build on. Now, the second part, which people don't really talk about, is the fact that fintech, when it comes to investment, when it comes to VC, got a major validation in Nigeria, which is the first company in Africa that Y Combinator is going to invest in was in Nigeria, which was Paystack, right? Now, the first major exit when it comes to fintech in Africa was Nigeria as well, because Stripe, all of us are familiar with Stripe. So Stripe actually acquired a Paystack for $200 million. And with that exit, it gave a major validation for fintech as a sector that can provide liquidity for investors. Now, when you look at the combination of the two, which is regulation and a validation of exit, it provides that confidence both for founders to be able to build and for investors to be able to invest as well. Thank you.
まさに今、フェミが言ってくれたんですけど、2020年にペイスタックという現地の決済のスタートアップをですね、アメリカのストライプが200ミリオンで買収したということがありまして、それがすごくアフリカのスタートアップにとっては大きなニュースで、それがやっぱりアフリカスタートアップのエグジットが生まれたりとかですね、世界の投資家とか世界の事業会社がアフリカに注目するきっかけになりました。で、まさにそういった企業とかを通じて現地のインフラが整ってきたというところの背景がやっぱりナイジェリアを大きく成長させている要因なのかなという話です。ちょっと今レギュレーションの話とかもあったんで、もうちょっと踏み込んで聞いてみたいなと思うんですけど、So next question is how does the government and the local banks help your business?
Okay, for the government and the regulators, I would say that we see them as partners and not as competitors. We understand the fact that government can come with regulations to say that we want you guys to do this, and the regulators will always implement. So what we've done in Nigeria and in my own company is to partner with these people. You know, when you partner with them, that is when you can scale. Your scalability is going to be very fast and your growth is going to be seen. So government has been helping us, just like what Femi has said, you know, when it comes to the NIMS, the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, you know, they've helped us so that we can always transfer money and see it on the immediate, right? So if we don't partner with government, you are going to have a problem. So instead of seeing them as a competitor, you know, seeing them as somebody you can't work with, you need to collaborate with these people. We see them as collaborators. Just 2 weeks before I come to Japan, we signed a very huge deal with the Lagos state government so that we can disburse loans to over 1 million Lagosian in Nigeria. So if we are not seeing them as collaborators, we are not going to be able to get this deal. So I would say they are our collaborators, our backbone, and our partners. Yeah.
Okay. I will also add that because Nigeria, the population is huge, and the need for government to be able to engage people and also solve problems, fintech has become a huge tool in solving problems. And I'll give you a good example. So, for example, there's something called agency banking in Nigeria, and the government, the Central Bank of Nigeria, is very, very big on financial inclusion. Femi and Rukayat's numbers showed the number of unbanked people in Nigeria, and because the cost of building brick and mortar banks to be able to bank the whole population is going to be immense. So because of that, government had backed fintechs in Nigeria to drive an initiative called agency banking, where your local mom and pops can offer financial services to the population. So there's a huge collaboration between the government and innovation in terms of leveraging the scalability of technology to be able to serve the global the population, which if you don't do the required infrastructure, government alone cannot provide it. So I will support what Rukayat have said, that yes, government and is supporting us. Another good example in the field where I play, which is cross-border payment, is the African Free Trade Zone conversations, where African countries are coming together to allow for easy passage of goods and payments across different countries. So it's not just even within Nigeria, but Africa as a continent have realized the huge importance that technology can play in terms of solving some of the basic problems around payments, credit, and financial inclusion within the continent. Thank you.
So, I believe that if you're going to build a scalable technology ecosystem, especially for fintech, there has to be a major connection between the regulators and the traditional banks. And Nigeria is a classic example of that. Now, building up on what Babatunde and Rukayat had talked about, especially on the agency banking, one of the first major regulation that was passed in 2012 was around cashless economy, right? And the cashless economy created a moment where there was the rapid adoption of digital payments in Nigeria. So that created opportunity for a lot of fintechs to be able to build, right? Now, the other one is around the fact that the regulators are actually forward thinking. Even though we had the Nigerian interbank settlement system, they were able to build upon that last year to be able to create an advanced model, which is Nigerian payment stack. And the essence of Nigerian payment stack is such that the Nigerian interbank settlement system has been around for over 15 years, over 10 years. Now, a lot of things have changed when it comes to financial services. Now, the Nigerian payment stack is meant to solve for things around interpolarability between fintechs and banks. Because when they created the Nigerian interbank settlement system, there were no fintechs then. Now, the other part is meant to solve for fraud. It's meant to solve for anti-money laundering. Now, all of these frameworks actually helps in terms of creating confidence when it comes to the use of, when it comes to fintech adoption. Now, the other one is around open banking. With open banking creation policy in Nigeria, which is building up already, it helps such that there's a clear ecosystem around how people are able to build. There's so many. But primarily, one thing I would like you to take away is Nigerian government and the regulators are the most forward-thinking regulator in Africa, right? Now, when it comes to the way we work with banks, now the other part is banks are more like enablers in the ecosystem, because banks, they often don't see fintechs as competitors. They see them as more like part of the ecosystem. Often banks allow a lot of fintechs to be able to build on their infrastructure, especially in the early days. For instance, in our case, when we launched in 2022, we had to leverage on existing bank license for like a period of 3 years. But after then, we're able to get our own banking license, such that now we have our own banking license, and it makes life easier. And with us being a bank as well, we're able to support other fintechs to be able to grow. Yeah, so that's it.
そうですね、実際やっぱり3社とも言ってくれたんですけど、政府かなりスタートアップは投資してデジタルイノベーションも進めてたりとか、現地の銀行もですね、彼らと協業して活動してます。で、政府としてはやっぱりこのデジタル化を進めることによって今まで見えてなかったお金の流れがちゃんと見えるようになってきて、取り損ねてた税収がちゃんと取れるようになったりとかですね、あと銀行としても今までは自分たちの周りのお客さんしか見れなかったのが、ナイジェリアすごくマーケット大きいので、そうじゃないお客さんたちとですね、協業して一緒に取りに行ったりとか、そういったことをやってます。で、実際彼ら自体もバンキングライセンス取ってですね、本当に銀行として活動できるぐらいそういった新しいチャレンジを国としても推進してもらっているというような話です。So last question. How do you see the next, like the Nigerian, the fintech and consumer market next 10 years? And then please give us some advice to Japanese people and corporate how to enter the African market.
Okay, for your question, how do I see Nigeria fintech market in the next 10 years? So I would say last 10 years, there was no much growth, you know, in terms of adoption of technology. So if as at last year, we have about maybe 50 million Nigerian adults who are not able to access finance. And today it has reduced very drastically to about 28 to 30 million. Definitely in the next 10 years, we should be looking at, probably less than 5 million Nigerians who would not be able to access finance. So the numbers are reducing because of the work, the fintechs and other startups are doing. So in 10 years, I see Nigeria as a country that will be leading Africa when it comes to innovation in the continent. So, and I also want to implore the Japanese that is willing to come to Nigeria. I would say it is now. Do not come tomorrow because Nigeria is growing. Do not miss out. Do not say I did not tell you. So if you want to invest now so that you can enjoy the benefits of the future. Thank you.
So we have a 30 seconds left.
Okay, I think the next 10 years is very bright for Africa market. The population is increasing significantly. By 2050, there will be 2.5 billion Africans in the world. That's a sizable market. The average age is 19 years, so that's a market that will need to work, that will need technology, that will need internet, that will need food. Because of the huge infrastructure deficit in Africa, there will be a lot of opportunities to grow, whether it is technology, finance. The credit gap between the continent is still very huge. So I will implement, it is important that just about 0.5% of investment has gone to Africa from Japan compared to China, the US, Europe. So I will say Japanese investors should look to invest more in Africa. Bright founders and innovators within the continent. Thank you very much.
So mine is very simple. By 2050, Africa will have the youngest population in the world, right? So that means 8 out of every 10 young people in the world will be from Africa. So with those young people, it means there will be more adoption for technology. Now, to paint it better, a lot of innovation when it comes to technology, either AI, will depend on Africa, because Africa has the resource, has the both human resource and mineral resource to be able to power data centers, the minerals they need to be able to build some of this infrastructure. So that means if we're well positioned very well, you can actually take the future now. The smart one are doing that already, which Uncovered Fund and Edge Grow. Can we clap for them? Yeah. So I think our advice to you should not clap alone. Get in now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. じゃあ皆さん拍手でお願いします。この後後ろであっちの部屋でネットワーキングやるので、ぜひ彼らと名刺交換とかしてあげてください。3年越しにようやく日本に来たナイジェリアで最も注目される3社のスタートアップですので、よろしくお願いします。
ありがとうございました。改めて大きなCould you come to the stage? Front?
写真撮ってる間にですね、皆さんもし横が空いてたら少し奥に詰めていただいてもいいですか。
はい、本日多くの参加者にご参加いただいております。皆さんぜひ席の方は詰めてお座りください。はい、ただいまお知らせもありましたが、本日広報の控室にて本日登壇の方と交流をすることができます。ぜひ積極的にご活用くださいませ。ありがとうございました。